In a world that constantly pulls our attention outward, the journey back to our own quiet center becomes an act of profound courage. Return to stillness invites us to step beyond the noise and rediscover a place within that has never been touched by fear or confusion. This meditation is a gentle reminder that beneath every thought and emotion you carry there rests a limitless presence that is steady, clear, and deeply alive. When we allow ourselves to settle into this space, we remember who we truly are, and we awaken a freedom that cannot be taken away. Before we move deeper into this meditation of returning to your true self, I want you to feel the powerful truth that every person carries within them a well of calm strength that no challenge can break. This strength is not loud, and it is not dramatic. It sits quietly at the center of your being, waiting for you to notice it again. When you step away from the constant demands of the world, you begin to sense the quiet voice that has always been there, guiding you with a gentle confidence. This experience is not something you need to force, because it rises naturally the moment you allow the mind to soften. You are simply remembering a truth that has always been yours. As you bring attention inward, imagine setting down every burden you have carried without questioning whether you deserve to rest. You deserve it because rest is not something you earn, but the natural state of your deepest self. When you release mental tension, something remarkable begins to happen. You no longer feel separate from your own life, and instead you settle into a deeper harmony. This harmony is already within you, waiting beneath the pressure you place on yourself. All you need to do is step back and let the quiet reveal itself. There is a reason peace feels so good. Peace is not an escape, but a return to your original clarity. When you embrace the quiet presence within, you are not withdrawing from the world. You are reconnecting with what makes you effective, strong, and compassionate in the first place. The noise you often feel is not who you are. It is simply the surface movement of the mind, while underneath there is a calm that never changes. When you allow your attention to rest gently on your breath, your body begins to release layers of tension that have built up over time. Every soft inhale invites ease, and every slow exhale invites surrender. This simple rhythm is your anchor, pulling you back to the truth that you are not defined by pressure or rush. You are defined by the presence that watches it all. This presence does not judge, and it does not hurry. It simply is. Embracing the quiet presence within is an act of returning to your natural dignity. You do not need to prove anything in order to stand confidently in who you are. The strength you seek has always been inside you, waiting to be acknowledged. When you allow silence to surround you, the mind slowly unclenches, and your inner wisdom rises to the surface. This wisdom has been guiding you even when you felt lost. Now is your moment to trust it fully. The more you release mental tension, the more space you create for clarity to appear. Tension blocks your connection to your inner truth by crowding your consciousness with unnecessary weight. But when you soften even just a little, that weight begins to melt. You begin to breathe more freely without needing to control anything. This freedom renews your energy and reminds you that you are capable of living with intention and purpose. You start to feel yourself again. Allowing natural ease does not mean avoiding responsibility. It means approaching life from a grounded place where your choices come from alignment rather than exhaustion. When you rest as your true self, every action becomes clearer and more meaningful. You are no longer reacting from fear, but responding from centeredness. This shift transforms the way you think, speak, and move. You become someone who acts with calm precision. Think of your mind as a sky that is naturally clear even when clouds appear. The clouds represent tension, worry, and confusion, but they do not define the nature of the sky. When you release mental tension, you let those clouds drift away on their own. You do not need to fight them because they were never permanent. Beneath them, the open sky of your awareness waits patiently. This is the quiet presence you are learning to trust. You may notice that as stillness grows within you, your perception of the world begins to shift. Things that once overwhelmed you now lose their power to shake your center. You become aware of a grounded confidence that does not depend on circumstances. It comes from the knowledge that peace is available at any moment you choose to pause. This choice strengthens your ability to handle challenges with grace. You no longer feel at war with your own mind. As you embrace ease, you reconnect with your natural rhythm, which may have been buried under years of pushing and striving. This reconnection is not a luxury, but a necessity for a meaningful life. When you operate from your true rhythm, you become more intuitive and more connected to your purpose. Everything begins to flow more smoothly. You realize that you do not need to fight your way toward fulfillment, because fulfillment grows naturally from presence. Your life begins to feel like it belongs to you again. There is a quiet power in choosing to slow down even when the world tells you to speed up. This power is the essence of returning to your true self. When you choose stillness, you choose clarity. When you choose clarity, you choose strength. And when you choose strength, you make space for a life that reflects your deepest values. This is where your transformation begins. It begins with a single breath. Every time you welcome ease into your life, you are training your mind to release unnecessary struggle. This training is gentle, not forceful. It teaches you to trust the natural intelligence of your own being. When you trust this intelligence, your thoughts become calmer and your emotions become lighter. You begin to feel whole instead of fragmented. This wholeness is the foundation of inner peace. The quiet presence within you is the most reliable sanctuary you will ever know. It cannot be taken from you and it cannot be damaged. You access it the moment you relax your grip on the need to control everything. In that moment, you begin to remember who you are beyond roles and expectations. You rediscover your inner radiance, which may have been dimmed but never extinguished. This radiance grows brighter each time you return to stillness. As you continue to release mental tension, you may feel a sense of relief that you have not felt in a long time. This relief comes from no longer resisting your own truth. You finally allow yourself to slow down and simply be. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. You begin to carry this calmness into your daily life. It becomes a quiet strength that supports everything you do. When you embrace natural ease, you invite wisdom to guide you rather than fear. Fear makes you rush, but wisdom makes you steady. Fear makes you doubt, but wisdom makes you clear. This clarity allows you to see options you may have overlooked in your hurried moments. It reminds you that you are capable of facing anything with courage. Your life becomes more intentional and more aligned. As you rest in your true self, you remember that you do not need to push constantly in order to grow. Growth happens in the spaciousness created by stillness. It happens when you allow yourself to listen to what is real and let go of what is not. The more you practice returning to this quiet presence, the more natural it feels. You begin to live from a place of calm strength rather than struggle. This is the gift of embracing your inner stillness. And so as you breathe gently and settle back into your natural state, remember that the path to peace is already within you, and it begins with the simple choice to return to stillness. Before you move deeper into this journey of returning to your true self, I want you to remember something profound. There is a presence within you that has never been touched by fear, confusion, or chaos. This presence has been with you through every stage of your life, yet it often goes unnoticed beneath the noise of constant thought. When you turn your attention inward and recognize this peaceful awareness, you begin to awaken to a truth that changes everything. You discover that the steadiness you have always searched for is not outside but within. This discovery is the doorway to your freedom. There is a deep relief that comes when you no longer depend on the world to make you feel safe. The external world shifts constantly, and its changes can exhaust you, but the awareness within you never trembles. It is untouched by the storms that may rage around you. When you rest in this inner stillness, you begin to feel guided, supported, and carried by something greater than the mind. This is not an escape from reality, but a return to clarity. It reminds you that you are more than you ever believed. When life feels uncertain, it is natural to search for answers in your thoughts. Yet thoughts often create even more confusion by feeding fear and doubt. True clarity comes when you step back from the noise of thinking and rest in the awareness that watches it all. This awareness is quiet and stable, and its wisdom is not shaken by temporary circumstances. When you trust this space within, you begin to respond to life with calm courage. You become anchored in a steadiness that does not fade. As you recognize this peaceful awareness, you will notice a shift in the way you experience challenges. Situations that once felt overwhelming begin to lose their power over you. You no longer feel defined by stress or uncertainty because you are connected to something deeper than the situation itself. This inner connection gives you a strength that cannot be forced or fabricated. It rises naturally from your true self. It helps you move forward with grounded confidence. There is a beautiful awakening that occurs when you understand that awareness is never in danger. It simply observes the movements of life without being harmed by them. You may experience difficult emotions, but your deeper self is not shaken by them. It holds space for your experiences with compassion and patience. This realization brings a new sense of freedom because you stop fighting your feelings. Instead, you learn to watch them from a place of peace. When you rest in this peaceful awareness, you begin to see your thoughts as passing waves rather than commands you must obey. Some thoughts are heavy, some are restless, and some are fearful, yet none of them define who you are. You are the one who sees the thoughts. You are the stillness beneath them. This separation between awareness and thought is the foundation of inner peace. It allows you to move through life without being controlled by mental noise. Recognizing your true self as peaceful awareness deepens your connection to life. You begin to feel present instead of distracted, grounded instead of scattered. You notice simple moments with more appreciation because you are no longer lost in your mind. This presence fills your daily experiences with clarity and ease. You become more attentive to others and more aware of your own needs. Life becomes richer because you are living from your center instead of your stress. When you begin to trust your inner awareness, you gain the ability to stay steady even when things around you feel chaotic. This does not mean you ignore challenges. It means you face them without losing yourself in them. You approach difficulties with a calm mind rather than a panicked one. You make clearer decisions because you are acting from presence rather than fear. This inner steadiness becomes your greatest strength. There is something deeply empowering about realizing that your true self is always at rest. Even when the body is tired and the mind is busy, the awareness beneath is untouched. It is like the still ocean floor beneath turbulent waves. When you connect with this depth, you begin to feel a quiet empowerment that comes from knowing you cannot be shaken at your core. This empowerment does not make you arrogant. It makes you authentic. As your awareness grows, you begin to see that inner peace does not require perfect circumstances. It requires only your willingness to return to the truth of who you are. The more you practice resting as awareness, the more naturally this peace begins to flow into everything you do. You become someone who moves through life with quiet strength. You carry a calm energy that others can feel. This calmness becomes your gift to the world. Recognizing yourself as awareness also frees you from the pressure to constantly fix or perfect yourself. You realize that you are not broken, and you never were. The mind may have struggled, the emotions may have fluctuated, but the awareness beneath remained whole. This wholeness is who you truly are. It has always been present, waiting for you to return. When you see this truth, you begin to soften and breathe more deeply. You will find that as you rest in awareness, your relationship with fear begins to shift. Fear loses its ability to dominate you because you see that it is only a temporary movement in the mind. It rises and falls like everything else, but awareness remains steady. This steadiness gives you the courage to move through life with openness instead of resistance. You begin to trust yourself in a deeper way. You begin to trust life in a deeper way. There is a clarity that arises when you fully acknowledge yourself as peaceful awareness. This clarity helps you distinguish between what truly matters and what only seems urgent. You begin to let go of unnecessary worries because you see them for what they are, passing clouds. You stop clinging to expectations that drain your energy. Instead, you choose what aligns with your inner truth. This shift transforms the way you live. As you continue embracing this awareness, you may notice a growing sense of compassion toward yourself. You begin to understand that you do not need to be perfect to be worthy of peace. You do not need to have all the answers to be grounded. The awareness within you accepts every part of you without judgment. It holds you gently even when you feel lost. This compassion becomes a source of healing and renewal. When you let this peaceful awareness guide you, your choices become clearer and more inspired. You begin to act from intuition rather than fear. You feel more connected to the flow of your life because you are no longer fighting against it. This alignment brings a sense of purpose and direction that does not need to be forced. It rises naturally from stillness. It helps you move toward what is meant for you. There is a quiet joy that emerges when you rest as the awareness that watches your life unfold. This joy does not depend on circumstances. It is the joy of simply being present, alive, and awake to your own existence. It is a joy rooted in truth. When you feel this joy, you understand that nothing outside of you can complete you. You are already whole. You are already enough. As you recognize your true self as peaceful awareness, you also begin to notice how much lighter life feels. The pressure you once carried begins to loosen. You stop trying to control every outcome. You begin to trust that you can move forward one moment at a time with clarity and calm strength. This trust becomes a guiding force in your life. It reminds you that you are supported by something deeper than thought. In this journey of returning to stillness, your awareness becomes your sanctuary. It becomes the place you return to again and again whenever life feels overwhelming. It becomes the place where you find your strength, your clarity, and your peace. The more you rest here, the more you realize that this sanctuary is not separate from who you are. It is your true home. It is the essence of your being. And so, as you continue to recognize the peaceful awareness within you, let it remind you that you are steady even in uncertainty, and you are whole even in moments of challenge. When you allow stillness to guide your actions, you begin to feel a powerful shift within yourself. You are no longer pulled in every direction by the pressure of expectations or the weight of uncertainty. Instead, you become centered in a presence that clarifies your path with remarkable ease. This presence is the wisdom of your true self speaking in a language beyond thought. It guides you gently toward choices that honor your peace. It reminds you that you do not need to rush to find what is already within you. As you move through life with greater stillness, you begin to notice that clarity rises from a quiet mind, not a busy one. When your thoughts become loud, they block your natural wisdom and make even small decisions feel heavy. But when you return to the stillness at your core, your intuition wakes up and begins to speak clearly. You start to sense what direction feels right, rather than what simply seems expected. This feeling becomes your compass. It leads you with confidence even when the path ahead is unknown. Stillness also deepens your capacity for compassion because you are no longer reacting from stress or fear. You begin to respond to life with a softer heart and a clearer mind. You listen more deeply and speak more intentionally. You see others with greater understanding because you are not distracted by inner turbulence. This compassion extends to yourself as well, allowing you to release harsh judgments and treat yourself with patience. This shift brings healing in ways you may not have known you needed. It reconnects you with the natural kindness within you. When you let stillness guide your choices, your actions become aligned with your values rather than with momentary emotions. Emotional reactions come and go, but the wisdom of stillness is steady and true. It allows you to pause before acting so that your steps are thoughtful and grounded. This pause is not hesitation, but strength. It gives you the ability to act with intention instead of impulse. It empowers you to create a life that reflects your deepest purpose. You may notice that when you act from stillness, your relationships begin to transform. You communicate more clearly because your words come from calm awareness rather than frustration. You hold space for others without losing yourself in their emotions. You create healthier boundaries because you are acting from clarity rather than guilt. This brings a new sense of balance into your life. It allows your connections to deepen without draining your energy. Living from stillness also helps you navigate challenges with a grounded presence. Instead of being overwhelmed, you become steady even in the midst of difficulty. You see obstacles with clearer eyes because you are not tangled in fear. You respond creatively instead of reacting blindly. This creativity arises naturally from the openness within you. It guides you to solutions you may not have seen before. It shows you that you are capable of far more than you once believed. As you allow stillness to guide you, your inner freedom grows. You stop chasing approval and begin honoring your authentic self. You release the pressure to please others at the cost of your own peace. You trust your intuition even when others do not understand your choices. This trust empowers you to walk your own path with quiet confidence. It frees you from the limits of old patterns. It reminds you that you are here to live truthfully, not fearfully. The more you follow stillness, the more aligned your life becomes. You start to recognize what nourishes your spirit and what drains it. You choose activities that bring joy and let go of those that keep you stuck. You create habits that support your inner peace. You begin to design your days with intention instead of allowing them to be shaped by stress. This alignment makes your life feel lighter and more purposeful. It brings you closer to your true self. Stillness guides you to listen to your inner voice with greater trust. This voice is subtle but powerful, and it speaks in feelings rather than sentences. It nudges you toward what is right for you even when it defies logic. When you honor this voice, you begin to experience a deeper sense of direction. You start to see opportunities that once felt invisible. You feel supported from within rather than dependent on external validation. This inner support is what makes your steps steady. Acting from stillness does not mean being passive. It means acting with clarity rather than confusion. It means moving forward with purpose rather than panic. When you allow stillness to lead you, become more effective because your energy is focused and intentional. You no longer scatter your attention across worries and assumptions. You put your heart into what truly matters. This focused action creates powerful results. It helps you progress with confidence and calm determination. Your inner stillness is also a source of resilience. It helps you bounce back from challenges without losing your sense of self. It gives you the strength to rise again even after difficult moments. This resilience comes from knowing that your peace does not depend on circumstances. It comes from within and cannot be taken from you. When you act from this peace, you move through life with a quiet power. This power strengthens you from the inside out. As stillness becomes your guide, you begin to feel more connected to the present moment. You stop rushing toward the future or dwelling on the past. You notice small details and simple joys that once went unseen. These moments ground you in gratitude. They remind you that life is not measured by speed, but by depth. This sense of presence brings fulfillment that no achievement alone can provide. It shows you that peace is found in now. Stillness also helps you let go of what no longer serves your growth. You begin to release beliefs that keep you small and habits that drain your energy. You let go of comparisons that steal your joy. You drop the stories that tell you you are not enough. This release creates space within your life for new beginnings. It opens the door for transformation. It helps you step into a stronger version of yourself. When you act from stillness, you begin to feel guided by a wisdom that is larger than the mind. This wisdom is gentle yet unmistakable. It leads you toward people, opportunities, and experiences that support your soul. It steers you away from paths that harm your peace. It teaches you that alignment is worth more than approval. This guidance carries you with ease because it comes from your true self. It makes your journey feel purposeful and deeply authentic. As you continue returning to this stillness, you realize that every challenge becomes easier to navigate when you stay anchored in your center. You stop fighting life and start flowing with it. You respond with awareness rather than resistance. This flow does not mean avoiding effort. It means your effort is guided by clarity rather than by fear. It ensures that your actions are effective and meaningful. It honors your inner truth with every step you take. And so as you allow stillness to guide your choices, your actions, and your way of being, you discover a life shaped not by fear, but by clarity, compassion, and inner freedom. In the quiet space where your breath softens and your awareness opens, you discover that stillness is not an escape, but a return to your natural strength. It reminds you that clarity rises from within, and that peace is not something you must chase, but something you allow. As you rest as your true self, you begin to move through the world with a steady heart and a clear mind, trusting the wisdom that has always guided you. This journey back to stillness is not a single moment, but a way of living, a gentle unfolding of truth and presence. Let it continue to lead you forward with grace and confidence. Return again and again to the calm within you and let it be your home.